Hi, Pastor Nathan Decker with your hashtag Better Together devotion for today. Make sure to click like, share, subscribe, all those buttons below so that we can share the good news together. So, have you ever heard the phrase, old as Methuselah? That actually comes from the Bible, and that phrase I recently heard got me thinking about time. In terms of time within the Bible, there's a lot of different things that happen in the Bible that are very interesting, especially when you go into the genealogies of the Bible. That is, the descendants and ancestors of those that are major players of the Bible. A lot of times, folks will joke about this being good reading material if you're trying to fall asleep, because it's so and so begat so and so, and they lived so and so years, and so begat so and so. And a lot of times the years just sound astounding, especially in the book of Genesis, where a lot of the years are beyond 100 years. In fact, Methuselah, the one I mentioned, is 999 years, almost a millennia. And there's all these other folks that are mentioned, and they're mentioned just in passing. Now, you can do several things here. You can take this literally, as if they literally lived this many years, or you can try to come up with some reasonable explanation to make yourself feel better about maybe the calendar was different, or maybe there was a double atmosphere and that changed things. I've heard all kinds of theories about this. But then you get to folks like Enoch. Enoch lives 365 years and then walks with God and walks no more on the earth. It's just a random little story, a nugget that's thrown in there. And that's the part of the genealogies that makes me think that these years have much more deeper meaning, that there were stories within these numbers, stories within these stories about time, that then the storyteller could pause and say, oh, 365, that's the number of days it takes to go around the sun. Something's going on here, that there's a lot more than meets the eye to these stories. That's very true when you get to another set of genealogies, the one in Matthew's gospel for Jesus, for Joseph in particular. And a part of what's going on there is a forcing of the genealogies to be arranged in such a way as they are literally 14 generations. Now it goes from Abraham to David, and there are 14 generations, and then from David to Joseph, 14 generations. And there's these mentions of big player names like David and Abraham. There's also mentions of big player names as far as women in this story. You get Ruth mentioned, you get Tamar, you get Bathsheba. You have these women that are mentioned by name or by allusion that helps us understand that something's different about this family. Now, in this instance, what's happening, because if you compare, just being honest here, if you compare Matthew's genealogy to Luke's genealogy, or even go backwards into the Old Testament genealogy, they don't exactly match. And again, he says specifically there's 14 generations. Well, the numbers are important. Time and numbers are important in the Bible. And 14 is twice 7. And 7 is a really good number for this culture. So that's a part of what's happening there. As well as the mentioning of women is mentioning of them specifically to say something's unique about how this family goes about things. I mean, you got Rahab and Tamar, and you got these things going on that are unique and different leading up to Mary in the story of Jesus being born. Time in the Bible doesn't have to be taken literally. Time can be something that we look at as a means of sharing the good news and a means of sharing a deeper story. You know, I get it really tickled when I see how long ago or once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away, we have all these ways of pointing out and sharing stories and using kind of time as a way of encapsulating it. Think about Christmas as a story. It mentions the emperor in the 5th year of the governor. It's just a random moment of time that's mentioned to encapsulate the story and move us forward. Our story matters. You're in such and such year of your life. You're in a moment where you are like Enoch, desiring to walk with God. You may not get the years of Methuselah, but you have your years to decide what you will do. And maybe your generations will be 14, blessed doubly by being something that shows that God is up to something and that God is doing something new, something better together. Amen.